Previously, on Horror on Cedar Block. As the crimson moon climbed high above Cedar Block, the ground stirred with old pain and new purpose. Sam Carter, marked by blood and driven by rage, stood shirtless in a sacred circle, ancient sigils painted across his chest. Mama Mars, guided by ancestral fire, watched as the ritual began. The spirits whispered through the moss. Drums echoed from beyond the veil, and the old gods stirred in the darkness. Together, they made a pact, not just for revenge, but for reclamation. The soil wasn't just cursed, it was ready, and with the rise of the blood moon, something buried deep began to wake. Cedar Block would never be the same again.
Cedar Block. Horror on Cedar Block.
Chapter 5. The Grave Whispers. The graveyard behind Mama Mars's crumbling house had been a place of whispered warnings since anyone in the neighborhood could remember. The moss-covered headstones leaned like crooked teeth in the moonlight, and tonight they hummed an eerie vibration that Sam Carter felt in his bones. Mama Mars stood barefoot in the dirt, eyes rolled back as she chanted in Creole, her voice echoing from a time before time. Around her, the circle of salt and ash flickered with candlelight, and the bones, those sacred bones, began to tremble where they lay, buried. Sam watched, heart pounding as the earth cracked open. He wasn't afraid. Not anymore. The spirit of old Parchman, a tortured soul from the days of the chain gang, rose slowly. His body was translucent, but his rage was solid. Blood for blood, he rasped. He reached out a spectral hand, touching Sam's forehead. In that moment, Sam saw it all: generations of suffering, betrayal, and dark pacts made beneath burning crosses. The cost of power had always been blood. Mama Mars collapsed to her knees as the ritual ended. The bones were still. The earth sealed itself shut. Sam helped her up. "It's time, child," she said, voice ragged. "The ones who wronged us ain't sleeping, and they damn sure ain't safe." They left the graveyard in silence, the air behind them charged with the weight of the past. The soil didn't just drink the blood, it remembered. And now it had started to whisper back. As they walked back toward the house, Sam kept glancing over his shoulder, not out of fear, but reverence. Something had shifted. The graveyard wasn't just sacred ground anymore, it had become a door. And whatever stood behind it was awake now. Awake and watching. His heart thundered in his chest, not from terror, but from an overwhelming empathy that bordered on grief. Every vision old Parchman had shown him was etched in his mind, like scars carved into his very bones. He saw the broken backs of men forced to build railroads that would never take them anywhere, heard the moans of women whose cries were swallowed by the night as overseers dragged them into the woods, smelled the blood on parchment contracts that stole lives and sold legacies. Sam wiped a hand across his face, surprised to find tears, not his, someone else's. The ghosts had wept through him. "I saw everything," he whispered. Mama Mars looked up from where she walked, slow and hunched. "Good. That means they chose you." Sam shook his head. "Why me?" "Because you still got fire in you, boy. Same fire that burned in your great-granddaddy's heart when he tried to break them chains. Same fire your mama had when she hexed the sheriff who killed your cousin and walked free." He paused. "I never knew that. You weren't supposed to. Some truths don't get passed down with lullabies." When they stepped into the house, the floorboards groaned like they recognized them. The candles on the altar had all gone out. A chill blanketed the room. Sam sat down at the table and looked at his hands. They were shaking, not with fear, but anticipation, purpose. For the first time in his life, he felt the weight of something larger than rage. It was clarity, sharpened like a blade. "I need to know what they did," he said. "The ones who started this, the ones who made the deal." Mama Mars sat across from him, her face lined with centuries of knowing. "You sure you ready to carry that weight?" Sam nodded. "I already am." She reached beneath her robes and pulled out an old ledger bound in human leather, stained and cracked. She opened it and turned pages slowly. Names, dates, vives scrawled in blood. They were promised land, she said, but they gave up souls. Whole families disappeared. Babies born with no shadows. Women who screamed fire instead of pain. "Is that what happened to Serenity's bloodline?" Sam asked, voice trembling. Mama Mars nodded. Her great-grandmother tried to undo the pact, paid for it with her life, and her soul's still trapped in that land. Sam clenched his fists. "Then I'll free her. I'll free all of them." Mama Mars smiled, but it was sorrowful. "That kind of promise comes with a price. Papa Legba don't open doors without taking something in return." The room darkened, not just from fading light, but from the weight of truth. Sam stood and walked to the mirror. His reflection no longer mimicked him. It watched, judged, approved. He pressed his palm to the glass and whispered, "I'm ready." The mirror rippled, and the house began to bleed. As Sam helped Mama Mars to her feet, the cold of the graveyard clung to his skin like frostbite. His hands trembled, not from fear, but from the weight of truth now buried in his blood. The visions old Parchment had forced into his mind looped endlessly. A woman's wails as her child was ripped from her arms, the iron brand pressed to flesh, the sound of hymns twisted by pain. It was more than history. It was his inheritance. His breath caught in his throat as he looked around. The headstones weren't just markers. They were warnings. Each one a story cut short, a memory that refused to rest. The wind stirred again, and he swore he heard names, real names, whispered with desperate urgency. Mama Mars placed a hand on his chest. "This land has waited a long time, Chile. It's chosen you not 'cause you're strong, but 'cause you can feel what they felt. You can bleed like they bled." Sam looked down at the cracked dirt beneath his feet. His heart thundered, not just with dread, but with purpose. Whatever was coming, he would carry them with him, all of them.
Cedar Block.